Hey everyone, welcome to GiRLiFE Live. I'm Melody Pourmoradi and I'm excited to be here with you today. This is our first GiRLiFE Live since our last free training, our masterclass, how to run your first profitable girls empowerment workshop. You know what I'm talking about. I want to thank you. I really, really do. For those of you who showed up, even if you showed up for just a few days, you are freaking rock stars. Thank you for being there with me. Thank you for doing the hard work to really show yourselves that you've got what it takes to run a profitable girls empowerment workshop. Now, let me know if you guys are alive with me because I'm having some technical difficulties today. I was having some trouble getting live here with you. I see a person, so I'm going to assume that this is totally working. And I see two. So let me know who's here. Let me know where you're joining us from. As I was saying before, we just finished our training. You guys are rock stars. Thank you for being there to those who participated. And thank you to all of the women who signed up as GiRLiFE facilitators. Welcome, welcome to the GiRLiFE family. This last few days, we've been onboarding everyone, running welcome sessions. It has been truly magical to watch these women transform. Literally, they've taken their what they learned in our workshop, what they're learning from the curriculum, and some of them have already run their first workshop. So kudos to you. You are changing the world, and I so appreciate you. For those of you who didn't get a chance to join the free masterclass, I'm going to be posting a quiz a little bit later, not a quiz, like a poll. I want to know, was it too long? Would you rather me, sorry, phone call coming in. How can I make this a better experience for you so that you get to show up and you get to experience the magic that is this group and the women who are in it? So anyways, all of that being said, I want to talk a little bit today about self-sabotage. As we all try to make transformational change in our lives, we just do this. It's a thing we do. We start to play small. We start to, just as we're making moves, we start to pull back and we start to ask ourselves, why am I doing this thing? Nobody will want this thing. We essentially self-sabotage. I don't know if you guys have heard the song. I think it's, who's the name of the band? I wrote it down here. I think Lit. It's a song that says, it's no surprise to me, I am my own worst enemy. And every now and then I kick the living shit out of myself. Something like that. And it basically talks about how we get to be our own best friend or we get to be our own worst enemy. And so often we don't even tune into that idea that if we just have the willingness, we can show up for ourselves. We are the ones who are talking ourselves into the negative vibes. We have the opportunity to actually step up for ourselves. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because I've heard from some of you. Some of you have joined us facilitators, and some of you are ready to go out there or you want to be ready to go out there and run your first workshop after the training that we did. This applies to anyone who's on the cusp of doing something, going after their goals, going after their dreams, making moves in their life in some way. It doesn't have to be anything grand. It just has to be stepping out of your comfort zone. So this is for all of us. I think to some degree we can all relate to this information. So, why is it? Why is it? I'd love to hear from you guys. Why is it that when we're on the cusp of doing something, we pull back? What is that reason? I have my own, and I know, and I'm going to share them with you. But what is it? What kind of fear is it that's kicking in when we know we have the credentials? We know that we've put our heart, soul, and sweat, blood, and tears into this. We know that we've studied, researched, done all the things, and yet we still pull back. What is that about? So I want to give you 4 points. I'm going to talk about 4 points today. Let's think about times when things are actually going really well in our lives. Can you guys think about a time when things were going well and you were kind of looking around you and looking within you and saying, this has got to be too good to be true. Like, this can't be real. This isn't my life. This isn't happening. it doesn't have to be a grand event. It could be just a moment. Sometimes we experience a moment like that and we question it. We immediately, our go-to is like, why are things so good? Why is this like, why is everything so good? Does anyone experience that? I know I do. I have one specific example. I remember last year I was, well, it's more than a year now. I was in Montreal with my daughter Noah, and it was just such a magical trip. We had such a great time. Everything was going well. She and I were so connected. And for anyone who has teenage kids, you know, like you don't always have that. You don't always have that, but we were, and we were so in sync and we were having the best time. And I caught myself in the moment saying, oh my God, this is too good to be true. Like I was waiting for something to go wrong. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. Give me some hearts if you know what I'm talking about. And I literally, in that moment, I self-sabotaged. I had like thoughts that were challenging the beauty that was that week with my daughter. And you know, I remember writing a post that day because sometimes my Instagram is like my live journal. And I posted a picture of us and I remember saying like, do you do this too? Do you also feel when things are going right that this just can't be true and that something's about to change? And my answer to myself was, until further notice, celebrate. Until further notice, celebrate. Let's stop playing small. Let's stop robbing ourselves of the beauty of the good moments. We all know that life is up and down. It's part of the human experience. We're going to have highs. We're going to have lows. But when we're experiencing those highs, why can't we lean into them? Why can't we savor them? And in fact, show gratitude for them and know that when we show gratitude, we are actually going to create more to be excited about, more to be thankful about, more magical moments. So that was the first example I had. And I wonder if you can relate, if there was an event in your life or a moment in your life where you talked yourself off of a high because things were just too good. And I wonder if you can play that back for yourself and remind yourself that the next time something amazing is happening, or even something that just feels good in the moment, savor it, honor it, show gratitude for it, and know that there are more great moments around the corner. All right, that is number one. Okay, this is a good one. This is a good one. I think that we are often afraid to shine too bright. I feel like somewhere in our childhoods, we have been told that we don't need to play big, that we need to hide, that we need to dim our light, that we need to turn the volume down on our shine. I know that that has happened for me. I can literally think of moments as a child where that happened where whether a teacher was telling me to cool the jets and it's like, you're too much, you're too this, you're too that. Or something that our well-meaning parents said to us. I remember one time I liked a boy. There was a boy that I liked. I was probably like 16 or 17 years old. And one of my friends, I guess at the time I didn't realize this probably wasn't a very friendly thing for her to do. But she said to me, like, what do you think you are, Mel? Do you think you're like this great prize that he should like you, that he should want to be with you? And like, these are little moments, right? We remember these little moments where maybe the world told us that we couldn't shine bright, and we listened, we accepted the fears of other people and the judgments of other people, and we made it a reality for ourselves. So put your hands up if you have felt moments like that. Even present day, my husband and I just celebrated 21 years of being together. And, our first date was 21 years ago. And my husband actually wrote this beautiful note in my family's chat, like my side of the family. He wrote this beautiful note for them to see. Like, it was just, I don't think he was consciously thinking they're going to see it and Mel's going to see it and whatever. He wanted to profess his love for me. And it's like even funny for me to talk about it right now. He wanted to say like 21 years and we are going strong and I love you. And he wanted to share that with my parents and with my siblings. And like, I have to tell you, when he did that, I just like, I think I put my hand on my head and I was like, oh my God, like that was so, I was fearing being spoken about in that way in front of my family. And it made me feel uncomfortable still to this day at 43 years of age. I'm still working through this stuff. And the reason I share these things with you is because I wonder if maybe you will also remember that this is a work in progress, that we are constantly growing and evolving. And of course, my husband did a really nice thing, and I needed to work through it and reframe it for myself, that it's okay that my sister's on this chat and she saw that. Yeah, I needed to reframe for myself that it's okay that he did that. And it's okay that I should be the recipient of something beautiful. And you too can be the recipient of something beautiful. And we need to create space for that type of energy and for people to show up for us in that way and for it to be okay. So the moral of the story of number 2 is there was a time in our lives where we were told that we were unworthy in some way. And maybe the person who told us we were unworthy didn't even mean to tell us that, but somehow we interpreted it as I'm too much, I shouldn't shine, I should turn the volume down on my greatness. And that has translated into adulthood. And so when we know, we can do better. When we know, we can do better. So number 3, my question to you is, are you willing to feel good all of the time? Are you? Are you willing to feel good all of the time? This is the work of Gay Hendricks, who I've just been introduced to. And that's a question that he asks. And the truth is, I think a lot of us, if we're truly honest, we want to feel happy all of the time, but we are not willing to feel happy all of the time. And the willingness in anything is key, because it just means that we're willing to try. We're willing to take one small step in the direction of what we want. And so I want you to ask yourself, am I willing to feel good most of the time? And, most of you will say yes, and then you'll be like, but wait, no, because you're going to start noticing moments where you take yourself down. And in those moments, I want you to really affirm for yourself that you are actually willing to feel good. You're willing to feel good. It doesn't mean that you do feel good, but it means that you are willing to feel good, that you are willing to be happy. So what I want you to take away from this is willingness for anything. You may have a fear to step out and build your dream business, but are you willing? Are you willing to try to dwell in that space and to try to be the person who tries to make her dreams come true? Yes, there's a willingness there, and that is the first step. That is the first step. And finally, and potentially one of the most important points is, why are we fighting for our disempowerment? Why do we fight for our disempowerment? Why do we fight and argue for our weaknesses? So often, maybe you don't notice it, but I know that you do this, and I know that I do this. We are self-sabotaging by fighting for the things that are not going well, fighting for our traits that are not wonderful, fighting for the weaknesses. Why do we do that to ourselves as human beings? Why don't we fight for our positivity, for our positive traits, for the things we do well, for the things that we do right? Noticing that when we focus on the good things, they grow. Why do we have these upper limits? We make these ceilings for ourselves, and we can't break through them. And I'm here to tell you, stop fighting for those things that you feel make you weak and start focusing on the strong. Start focusing on the gifts and the passions and all of your accomplishments up to date. Okay? Let's stop fighting for our disempowerment, and let's start fighting for our empowerment. Let's start dwelling in a space of empowerment, because we get to choose. Self-sabotage, I promise you this, you may point fingers at a dozen different people in your life throughout the years who are the ones who sabotaged you. And ultimately, you are the creator of your own world, your own reality, and your own success. And so what someone else said to you, you get to choose. You get to hold it over here and decide, am I willing to let this into my inner world? And am I willing to let this shape my inner experiences? And if you're not, you release it with love. Let it go. Let it go. And that's why I say those people are not responsible for sabotaging you. You have accepted that and you are self-sabotaging. So you know, with empowerment always comes a no blame mentality. We don't blame others. We also don't blame ourselves, but we accept responsibility that we are active participants in our own lives and that we shape our inner world. Okay? Give me some hearts if you felt this topic. I know I'm feeling it big time. It shows its ugly head all the time. And the reminders that I share with you are the reminders that I'm always sharing with myself. So I hope that this helped. As you know, I'm always here Wednesdays at 10:30 a.m. for GiRLiFE Live. I get to hang out with you and talk about all sorts of topics that I think together we can grow on. If you want to take that empowerment to the next level, we have a podcast. It's called the Empowering Her Podcast. And it's really all about how we can empower ourselves and take that empowerment outwards to other women, to girls, to serve, because it all starts with us. So when we get to be the creators of that empowerment in our world, we get to share it. So again, it's called the Empowering Her Podcast. Please check it out. Thank you, Luce. Thank you for all of your beautiful comments. Thank you, Maggie, for being here. I appreciate all of you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode of GiRLiFE Live, and I will catch you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for more empowering content and check us out at www.getgirlpower.com.